Welcome to Around Town. Here we are at the Immaculate Heart of Mary Church hosting a show, and with me is my director Brian Blackton, and it doesn't seem possible. We're now into the summer season. Can you believe it? And of course the 4th of July will be here very shortly, but right now I'm busy watching Michigan, and they're in the College World Series. So with that in mind, my special guest is Don Ross from Rossview Farm up there off, was it West Perry? Not West
District
Perry.
5.
District 5 Road. I get mixed up there. And he has brought with him some strawberries. So we're all wondering how the strawberry season's been going, because with so much rain and cool weather, they really didn't get a chance to ripen. Are you behind maybe a week or so, or 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's been an effort, Dick. First, thank you very much for having me on your show.
Oh, it's a
appreciate
pleasure, Don. It's good to see you.
Yep, it has been a struggle this spring. You know, it was cold for a long time and all the rain.
Oh,
and
yeah.
But fortunately, all the years that myself and my father have spent putting drainage under our berry fields, it kept my strawberry plants from floating away.
Good.
You know, so all the drainage has really paid for itself this year and helping develop a nice crop.
So your dad's up there working with you now?
Oh, no,
No, it's
he
just- okay.
he just in years
Yeah,
prior,
past, yeah, okay.
long ago. But no,
Well, I know that Howard Pearl from Loudon, he's a grain from his farm, and he's been having problems getting the corn done because the rain it's been high.
yeah, I feel for him and for any farmer, anyone that's trying to work on the ground, or landscapers or excavation. There's affects the whole economy one way or another.
Sure.
And but I guess that's just, we're at the mercy of Mother Nature. So that's part of farming. We can cry about it or we can adjust.
Yep, I know it. Nothing you can do.
You know.
Once it comes off hot, it'll be hot
Yes.
and dry. But
Yep.
Who knows, you know?
Yep.
But you started out this year by resurrecting your maple syrup production, which was nice to see. And then, of course, now you got the blueberries and strawberries. I see you got a nice group of berries here. And I know you grow different kinds of berries up there, if I remember right. I never knew there was so many different types of strawberries.
Yep.
There are.
Yep. Yes, I grow. I'm going to say I probably grow 6 or 8 different varieties of strawberries. I have, 3 major ones that are the backbone of my operation, but some other unique ones to fill in gaps of timing or to have, because they're nice to have.
And you've got quite a large, from what I could see, a blueberry crop there going.
Yep, we had a couple acres of blueberries that, the bushes are healthy and nurtured into a good, productive plant. And so, given no major weather obstacles between now and blueberry harvest, the blueberries look nice as well.
So when the strawberries start, it takes about, what, a month, 2 months to really develop, and then you've got to rely on the hot weather or something.
That's right. That's a great question or comment, Dick. From when the blossom is pollinated, it takes roughly 28 to 35 days from when the blossoms come out and being pollinated to when you have a ripe strawberry.
Wow.
So, I uncover the straw off the strawberries in April, middle of April, figured tax season, you go out, burn your energy off, pruning blueberries and taking straw off strawberries. And then as the plants start to warm up and develop, the blossoms come out, and then the bees for pollination, bless the bees, honeybees, bumblebees, native bees, all the pollinators. And if the bees do their job, then, along with it, all the pieces fall together, we have a nice crop.
Yeah, no, it gets some beauties in there.
I brought in a couple different varieties, so I don't know if you can see the different colors, but this particular strawberry is called Galetta, and it's one of my earlier varieties that I grow in. It's hardy in the sense that it can take real thick soil, and I the section of field I planted it in has some clay. It's gonna handle it.
You can tell they smell so good. They do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then this variety is a Cavendish, and you can see the color difference.
Yep.
Galetta, I'm not sure where that came from. I don't know the history, but Cavendish, it's basically from Nova Scotia variety, from Cavendish Beach. Yeah. Dick, would you like to try one?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh goodness gracious. But now, how did it work out with the deer and the moose or anything like that? The bears?
Yeah, the deer and the bear are pretty rough right now. The usually the deer would take off during harvest season, because there's so much forage in the woods. But the deer population seems to be growing, and the young ones are staying real close to the crop fields and aren't disappearing in the forest. And I think sometimes, having a lot more recreationalists in the forest sort of drives the wild animals out of the forest back into the fields.
So are they doing much damage to the issue?
Yeah, a little. It seems to be picking up over the last handful of years. I'm not sure if it's because of easy winters and the deer's overwintered better, or what.
Well, these are delicious. Oh my gosh. You can be guaranteed I'll be up to get some this week.
Oh yeah.
Because I can't pick them, but I have them all. It's so good that you have them all hand picked, and I can get several quarts. But,
Yep. We keep plenty of fresh berries on the farm stand.
I know, because boy.
So sometimes people quickly after work or on the way to work, free time. Hey, I want to swing in. I don't feel like picking, but we'd like some fresh ones. Or, people can leave a voicemail on the business phone, the farm phone for Rossview Farm, and say, hey, Don, we'll be there tomorrow, roughly between this time and this time, and we'd like however many quarts of strawberries.
You're going to be there Thursday?
Yes. Yep, we'll be there Thursday.
I'll plan to come Thursday.
Yep. So it's, it's nice to interact with a community like that, and seeing the smiles on people's faces when they eat the fresh strawberries, really makes it all worth it.
It just makes me so happy to see you happy and you're doing so well, Don, because you are just such a great guy. The State Grange honored you years ago, and it just seems so good to see you the way you are.
Well, thank you, Dick. I really appreciate you saying that.
Well, you're a good guy.
Life's like surfing. You gotta ride the waves when they come and walk on the beach when they're waiting for the next set, I guess. But
so now,
ups and downs.
If I look at the field, it looks like one section you don't have anything, but then up there you alternate, right?
You're correct. So where I harvest my strawberries, although I grow 6 acres at a time, I have 12 acres of field dedicated to the strawberries.
Wow.
So there's always 6 acres that are getting a rest, and we're regenerating the soil, putting cover crops in, doing some weed control, taking soil tests, honing in the pH and the nutrition. And so then when it comes time for it to grow, that acreage to grow strawberries again, it's ready to go and it hasn't been depleted of its minerals and nutrition. And if we keep the soil healthy, the soil keeps us healthy. So.
Now your land backs up to Carter Hill, or is it Abbott Farm up there on
Oh, Carter Hill. We
Hill.
Abut Carter Hill Farm.
Okay.
Yeah. Carter Hill Orchard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you still gonna do your Christmas trees? I noticed some of them. You look like you sell trees during the Christmas season.
Yep, we actually did a lot of recovery this spring. A lot of squaring up some recent plantations, filling in dead ones, and then planting a new plot. So we put in 2,000 to 3,000 Christmas trees this spring. 1,000 like a fresh new plot, and then the other 1,000 was filling in gaps in some past plots.
Has that become a major seller for you?
Strawberries is far and away
Yeah,
the
yeah,
majority
yeah,
of my
yeah.
annual income, and all the other things together, you know,
Yeah.
blueberries, pumpkins, Christmas trees, maple syrup,
Now, see,
firewood, they're, you know, kind
where
of
do
the
you
other
grow your
half.
pumpkins?
This year, at this point, we haven't put our pumpkins in the ground yet. We have some seeds that were germinating, but we haven't decided where we're going to put them yet. So we'll see what happens.
Have you ever had one of those big pumpkins grow? Or?
I am just learning how to grow those.
Really?
I don't think I have enough time to be competitive, to be a large grower. You got to just about like coddle those things all day and all night.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but it's fun to see. I have grown one, you know, a couple, 200-300 pounds, and so I gave this year. My father-in-law has a pumpkin plant to grow a large pumpkin. My father has a pumpkin plant to grow a large pumpkin, and I have a plant to grow. And so just a gentleman's competition between the three of us, and we'll see what happens.
Well, that's good.
Yep, yep.
Now, did you have a lot of vandalism to your maple syrup lines when you?
This particular season, there was one day I went to collect sap at one particular tank, and the sap was a color, you know, sometimes sap can go bad, it'll turn yellow or kind of musty or, you know, gray and cloudy, but there was once this season that it was like a brownish, like a really deep brown, and something didn't seem right. There's a hiking trail not far by. You know, I can't imagine anyone would do anything, so it could have been just a fluke, but just for, in the essence of being safe, I drained the sap tank out, scrubbed it clean, and didn't collect that sap. So
Some
you never know.
the days of the old buckets on the tree.
Yeah.
Right, though.
Yeah, but for the most part, you know, people that see the agriculture and stuff, they like to see it and enjoy it and appreciate it. But you know, sometimes people that aren't involved in agriculture don't realize what distance maybe they should or should not take, and you know, it's not ever intentional. But
So your strawberry season basically will be all done by the second week of July, or first week of July?
I'll go through July 15th.
Really?
Yep.
Oh.
I have my several varieties. We stagger them in a way and plant them in different areas of the field, so their ripening patterns are such that I can keep open almost every day for about 35 days. So it's we like to have just a bountiful amount available for the public, and so we can have regular hours to be open every day is what the goal is. Then people can count on us. You know, if I grow the crop where there's something available to be open all the time, then they can count on coming there. So,
How many hours a day you put in on that farm?
16 yesterday, which is probably, you know, I mean, I've had worse, but 16, that's plenty. But it goes through season, so I'll be 16, you know, at least 16 hours a day from now, which is, this is June 18th, I think, or 17th?
17th, I think so. It's coming.
Yeah, 18th, I think. Anyway, I'll be, you know, 14, 16, 18 hours a day from now till probably middle of August, and then it'll slow down a little bit for me. And then usually around Labor Day I can get a day or two off, but right now is the season. You know, it's the choice I make by being a farmer.
That's
so,
right.
Yep.
So when you're going to have a little petting zoo out there, you need to have a couple of little calves, some sheep or goats or something, and the kids would get a kick out of that.
They would love it, but because I grow my crops close to the ground, the food crops, you know, I don't want to have them, if I would ever have animals, I wouldn't want to have them that close by. So it would mean putting them further away, you know, in other fields or areas of the farm, which takes time to travel to. And then, you know, having crops, growing rooted crops, you know, once in a while I can get away for a couple days and know that the plants and trees will be okay. But if you have animals, you know, it's tougher to leave. You can't take them with you. You got to find someone to take care of them. And so It might be, my time is spread pretty thin how it is right now.
Well, didn't they used to have cows on that pasture up there years ago?
Yeah. Rossview was a dairy farm until 1980.
Really?
Yep, my dad milked Holstein, so my sisters and I remember growing up, on a dairy farm. So it's been a changeover. My mom and dad made the changeover from a dairy farm to a crop or berry farm, I guess you could say.
Well, the rumors are that the U.S. government has not been very fair to the dairy farmers or farmers in general.
I am not educated enough on the details of what is happening in the dairy industry to make a comment, because I would be uneducated whatever I said. However, I can say that growing up on a dairy farm in the 70s into the beginning of the 80s, my dad was able to supply for his whole family, and we were able to, have a vacation, or my dad have a hobby.
Sure.
And those times have changed. Dairy farmers don't seem to have any time for themselves, or not a spare dime to do for a hobby. Something's not right. I mean, the amount that the world relies upon dairy products, and for the dairy industry to be that difficult for the farmers, just, no farms, no food. And if something drastic's going to happen someday, and all of a sudden the world's going to say, man, maybe we should have done more to support, agriculture or dairy farmers or farming in general. So, the more that land is taken out of agriculture or away from agriculture and put into either development or or recreational trails or whatever, that's less land that's always existed, or been there to grow food. And with the population is not declining.
Nope. That's why I keep watching on Mountain Road the old blood farm up there. What are they going to do with it? It's all being, to me, I know they'll be hanging up there, but there's fences up there to put animals in, but they don't. The guy who owned it, bought it from the other people, died suddenly. That's he. And I don't know who's got it now, but it's so sad. Because as a kid, we used to drive by and they had cows everywhere. It was a big, big farm.
Yeah, it does look like a heck of a lot of acreage. I don't know much of the history of it or the current status, but I can tell you that we all know that the fields get hayed, and that hay goes somewhere.
I know.
So maybe it's feeding some cows or feeding some other animal.
Yeah.
So.
I like your shirt there, Rossview Farm, the big strawberry. There you
Thank
go.
you.
Good advertisement.
Yeah, something cool, clean, comfortable. Yep, nice. Yep, thank you.
So can you buy a T-shirt up there with that?
You cannot buy a T-shirt. The only way to get a Rossview T-shirt is you have to work there. You gotta, you gotta leave some blood, sweat, and tears, or blood, sweat, and smiles on the farm. And then, so if you see anyone with a Rossview shirt, they earned it.
So not a blood, not a sweat, and a check to buy.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Well, that's good though, Dave. Don, I'm telling you, it's just, it is. Like I said, I followed you for years, and I'm just so happy that things are working out and finally in your favor, and you really, you persevered.
It's nice to be past some of the speed bumps.
You persevered.
Yep, you just got to deal with what life throws at you, and keep being true to yourself and moving forward. And
I mean, you could have said, "How the heck with this?" But no, you stuck with it.
Yep.
And I'm so proud of you.
Well, thanks.
Well, we need young people like you really into the agriculture. I mean, yeah, it's one thing to put a row of cucumbers in or lettuce or something, but you really are working the field,
feeding malls. Feeding malls. It was back, God, it was like 10 or 15 years ago now, but being on the board of Merrimack County Farm Bureau, I remember at the time Jamie Robertson, the owner of Bohannon Farm, Kentucky Creamery, he was the president of Merrimack County Farm Bureau at the time, and at a meeting, he took numbers from every person, every board member that was there, of the amount of their product that they grew or produced on their farm, and figured out the amount of people that just those of us in that room fed. And again, I don't remember the numbers, but it was really neat and a feeling of pride to hear that. You know, when you hear the collection or the sum of all the different farmers put together and realize, wow, you know, what a unique group of people in this room and what we do. So it's, you know, I mean, I got to do something to feed myself and my family.
Sure.
And it might as well be something
That's
I like,
right. Yep.
you know, and at the same time, I feel like I'm combing the hair of Mother Earth and I'm giving back to the community at the same time.
Never thought of putting in corn or potatoes or things like that, though, huh?
Dick, this goes back to your question about animals. I need time to sleep sometimes. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm spread thin.
Now, do you still have rhubarb growing on the side?
We still have rhubarb.
I've got to get some rhubarb, because mine, well, of course, since I'm living in a different place, I don't have any rhubarb. So I got to get some rhubarb things to plant.
All right.
So I can get some rhubarb because, you know, love strawberry rhubarb pie.
Oh, yeah.
My God, I can't stand just plain rhubarb, but rhubarb, strawberry rhubarb, oh boy. My mother always got that. She was loved it.
I'm not, every now and then I like to grab a stick of rhubarb and chew on it just for a little zing or a pick-me-up in the middle of the day.
Yeah, I'd pick you up fine.
I'm not a huge fan of rhubarb baked or cooked things. However, my wife once made some rhubarb wine that was fantastic. Yeah, so whatever she did it just right. It was smooth and nice.
That reminds me, people are now tapping white birch trees for wine or something. Have you ever heard of that?
Well, I have heard of birch syrup.
Yes, I thought, yeah. Sure.
After college, when I commercial fished in Alaska, there was, you know, you could see birch syrup here and there in the stores. And I don't remember it tasting all that wonderful, but I suppose anything like that has some certain amount of sugar or fermentable product in it. So if anything that's fermentable.
Do you have any white birches on your land?
Yeah, there's some. I don't think enough to be any sort of productive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you, Don, it's a thankless job. I mean, I look at the Bartlett farm over there on 106, and boy, they continue to be a big dairy farm.
Yeah. Another nice farm family in Concord, New Hampshire.
But you know, Concord at one time had so many farms, and look what we're down to.
Yeah. It's dwindling. We're losing farmland. You know, in the past decade, New Hampshire has lost over 50,000 acres of agriculture.
Oh, sure.
Have lost it to either, you know, development or to recreation. And, you know, that's going to keep happening if people don't make a change as to what, you know, they do with land use. You know, maybe some farmer isn't able to continue on farming land, and that happens, but you know, there perhaps should be some sort of greater communal effort to keep that land in agriculture rather than turn it into something else. You know,
I know. I'm so sick of seeing housing developments everywhere.
Well, there's a way to have a symbiotic relationship in a community where a piece of land could be used for agriculture and for recreation and preserving forest land and protecting water quality. When there's a way that all that stuff can exist together, and I think something, you know, if everybody, not just in the community of Concord, the state of New Hampshire, but nationwide and worldwide, that managing everybody's interests a little bit better to more wisely use our natural resources.
Sure.
You know, is going to become more and more important as time goes on.
Well, I know we're coming down to a close very shortly, but I just hope, oh goodness, this is a different kind, huh?
That one, well, I don't know if you had that one before, but could have red beer.
My director's going to be jealous.
We saved some from him.
Oh.
No. That was a juicy one.
You don't even need sugar. It's so delicious.
Good stuff.
Well, plan on me coming up with, I'll give you an order after.
Well, sorry I interrupted us.
No, it's delicious. Oh, I can remember one time on the show, you drank plain maple syrup. And I thought, oh man, you just downed it like, there's like a little cup there of it.
Well, I got to sample my product. You know, I got to be
Sure.
I'm my own toughest critic.
Yeah, the best. Yeah, you're the best salesman. That's for sure.
Yep,
So.
I'm my own toughest critic.
Yep. Well, don't forget to go on YouTube and look up Around Town with Dick Patton and Brian Blackton, and you can download anything or just watch our shows and spread the word, because we want to make sure we have people out there viewing our show. And it's on CCTV as well, and so, but it's been a pleasure, Don. I'm so happy to have you here, and
Yep, very nice to be here.
get
Thank you.
I'm going to nominate you again this year for the new Farm of the Year for the state range, and see what happens. But
Well,
I'm telling you, we need the farms.
yeah.
Everybody thinks that McDonald's and all that, well, where do they get the stuff from? You know, the farmer is the one that needs the support.
Yes.
So please get out there and go see Dawn up there for some nice strawberries and blueberries, and I can always remember going blueberry picking. Oh God, it would run into a bee's nest or something. Oh, but I like blueberry pie and all that stuff. So,
Yep.
but anyway, well, thanks for joining us. Thanks you to Brian Blackton, my director, and we hope you have a great summer out there. And again, enjoy those strawberries. And I'm your host, Dick Patton.